Okay. So very important topic today we are going to discuss, that is design of experiment, and a lot of people in the manufacturing area use the design of experiment as the base to prepare for their experimentation, right? So we'll try to learn as much as possible. That should be in the scope of this course. But you know that design of experiment itself is a master degree course, right? So it won't be possible to discuss all the component applicable to all the people. So we'll try to have a brief introduction to that one. And wherever you require the more information like that, you can refer to the online resources, or anytime you can call me if you're facing any problem like that one. Okay. So design experiment, in this topic we are going to discuss outline or overview is like this one: approaches to the experiment, how we do the experiments, what are the different approach we follow, then what is the design of experiment, definition of design of experiment, right? Why we require the design of experiment, why DOE? A brief history after that, some basic examples we are going to see. Through that, we are going to learn about the different terminology used in the design of experiments. By taking a simple example, we'll discuss that one. Then general model, process or system, how that happens, what the general model, like input, output, and controllable variables, non-controllable variables, like that one, that all involved in the any process or system. Then we are going to learn about the interaction, randomization, blocking, and replication. And what is the purpose of all these? Then we are going to have the experimental design process, type of the design of experiments. There are the different types: 1 factorial, 2 factorial, fractional factorial, screening experiment, full factorial, like that one. Okay. Calculation of alias and DOE selection guides. This is with the designing the experiment and performing that one. After that, we come for the analysis. For having a good view or good understanding of this class, some example we are going to discuss. For that, we require the Minitab software, right? I request you all to download the Minitab software, install it on your system, because we are going to use for some basic examples or simple examples how to calculate the p-value and other things, right? So that software is required. As physically, if someone is around this or college campus, they can take a copy from me. Okay. For others, the only option is to download from the internet and install it. You can get for the trial version, or you are going to get the some crack copy or pirated one, that also works, no problem. So let us start with the basics. What approaches we follow when we are going to perform the experiments? Sometimes we follow the trial and error method to achieve the desired result. In any experiment, there can be some variables that may be in our control, some output we want. By changing the magnitude or value of the input variables, we see what output we are getting. If the process is not systematic, just by guess or something, we are doing that one. That means we are trying again and again and finding out the errors or like this one. That's or the objectives, whether we are going to achieve or not, that kind of method will be known as the trial and error method. Okay. Usually, we do this method, apply this method into our day-to-day life. Each and every time we can't go for a systematic approach for the experimentation. You are doing experiment knowingly or unknowingly all the times in your life. Simple thing maybe between the human beings. If you're going to say someone some statement to the your partner or some colleagues or and how they are going to respond to you. So here input will be how you are going to utter your words or statement and what is the response. If you are going to be friendly, no doubt there should be a friendly response. If you are going to be rude, there should be rude response. So that happens. So experimentation is always there, whether we are going to feel it or not. Other method may be one factor at a time. There may be a number of factors involved, right? The number of factors may be involved in a particular experiment. Let's say take the example of the simple experiment of the turning a workpiece on lathe machine. What kind of the input factor there should be? Speed is the one factor. You can choose the low speed, high speed, medium speed. There should be the number of speed will be available on the lathe machine, right? Other factor may be the depth of cut. Different depth of cut you can give. Other input can be feed rate, right? At which feed you are going to do the turning operation. Other factor may be there material, tool material, right? Which tool material you are going to use. And so there should be so many factors, input factors. And if you want to know the effect of the one factor only, what effect that is going to do on the some output. Output may be material removal rate, how much material removed per unit time, or that may be surface finish, right? That may be anything, what output you are interested in, right? So that may depends upon the input factor like speed, feed rate, okay. Speed, feed rate, depth of cut, type of the tool, material of the tool, geometry of the tool, whether you are going to use the coolant or not. There are so many input factors. And out of that, let's say if you are going to choose only one factor, let's say speed. What is the effect of the speed on the, let's say your output is the material removal rate. When you're going to change the speed at the different value, what effect that is going to produce? That is the individual effect. No doubt, whenever you're going to increase the speed, that will increase the MRR. Material removal rate will be increased. But you can verify that one, you can perform that experiment and verify what is that kind of experiment when you are changing only one factor at a time. Only one factor at a time. That should be known as a one factor at a time experiment. But this will take a lot of time to conduct and find out the effect. You are going to keep all the factors constant at a particular level, and all factors at the different levels. If you go for the all that kind of combination, that kind of experiment will be known as a full factorial. Each and every combination of the input variables. And generally, in the industrial setup or research setup, the number of factors and their levels are not very less, not like only one or two factors or only one and two levels. If that kind of that is very easy, but they may be four, five, or in that case you can get to conduct thousands of experiments. Now conduct of the thousands of experiments, hundreds of experiments, and same time keeping their data, maintaining that data. What is the input, what output you received, and like that one. That is very troublesome, complicated one, complex one. And here's come the design of experiment. Without compromising the output results, whatever information you get from the one factor at a time, changing the one factor at a time, and performing the full factorial, full operation, thousands of experiments, that can be done in the very less number of experiments. And same information you can get by using the design of experiments concept. You can get the individual effect as the interaction effect. What is the interaction effect? When you are going to vary the two things at the same time, the combined effect of that two is known as the interaction effect, right? So we learn more about the interaction effect later on. Okay, now coming to the basics, we can define design of experiment as a statistical techniques. Mind this word, statistical, right? Can anyone tell me what do you mean by the statistics? Anyone? What do you mean by the statistics? All are sitting in the library. Okay, let me, for you, I trying to find out from the net. You can see, statistics is the practice or science of collecting data.
Data, yeah.
Yeah. And analyzing numerical data in the large quantity, especially for the purpose of the inferring. Inferring means to get, right? Inferring means to get, to catch something in a whole form, those in the representative sample, from the representative sample. That means from that data, you're going to infer some result. You're trying to find out some result, some correlation, some relations, some cause and effect. And that's why this is used for the hypothesis testing. Already we have discussed about the hypothesis, right? If you remember, what is the hypothesis? Anyone?
It's a systematic guessing.
Yeah.
Especially that we use in a research. It depends. It's not only guessing. It's a systematic. It's a scientific guessing.
Yeah, systematic scientific guessing. But
yeah.
What kind of guess? Like today it will be rain or not rain. Is that kind of guess?
No.
So there should be some specific, no? How can you say that okay, this is the hypothesis or this is not a hypothesis? Anyone? Please participate, involve yourself. There is no, don't be afraid of talking anything wrong, okay? That is the major problem in the research. Without doing something wrong or being wrong, you can't achieve the right result. Okay, in the research you fail so many times, and you require only one chance to be successful. Okay, so get rid of that kind of the psychology that okay, I don't know, or I fail, or like failure is the stepping stone for the success. You know that. So don't bother about answering any question whether you are understanding in a little or in a totality. Till you don't discuss anything with your colleagues, with your teacher or anything, the concept won't be so crystal clear. Okay, discussion required. That's why I ask whether you have understood the concept of the hypothesis or not. If you didn't understood, no problem. This is your first research class. You're not supposed to know all the things, right? So can anyone understood hypothesis in totality, what exactly it means to us?
For me, we can call that the hypothesis is good or bad. Just depend on the experiment. I hope that the statistics that comes or the result that comes from the experiment.
No,
That's my guess.
not come from the experiment. On the basis of hypothesis, we prepare the experiment.
Yes.
Simply
Hypothesis is the building block. Yeah.
idea.
Assumption
Assumption.
or explanation.
Yeah, Bente, you are saying something. So let me again. Hypothesis is a smart guess
Okay,
Yes.
doctor.
based upon the some scientific fact or your previous knowledge or experience. You are going to make a guess. Guess about what? About the some relationship between the variables, some cause and effect, right? So there should be if and then. Two terms will be there. If speed is increased in turning, then material removal rate will be more. Like that. This is a hypothesis, a guess, or a statement you are going to make. And how do we verify this one? By performing the experiment. Doing some sort of the experiment, you are going to verify that hypothesis. Hypothesis may be come from your objective, your problems, research problem, like your objective is to know the effect of the speed on the material removal rate in the turning operation. That may be your objective. You want to know the effect of the speed, cutting speed, let's say, on the material removal rate. And for that purpose, you can design hypothesis like you can say that if I increase the speed, if the speed is increased, material removal rate will be more. Now we are going to verify this one, whether this hypothesis is true or false. And how you can verify? By performing the experiment. What you are going to do? First, you are going to design the experiment. How you are going to perform the experiment? Right? From the experiment, you are going to collect the data, like input variable, you have taken the 2, 3, 4, 5 speed, and then you are going to measure the response in terms of the material removal rate. And once this data is available to you, you are going to use some tools, statistics, analyzing that data. On the basis of that, you can say that okay, this at this speed material removal rate was that, this speed this, there may be some linear relationship, some relationship in terms of the curvature or something like that one. And from that analysis, you will be sure that whether there is a relationship or not. If whatever statement you told earlier in terms of the hypothesis, that is going to be true, you can say that okay, our hypothesis was good. That is accepted. Or you can simply reject. From that, you get the knowledge. In the both the cases, this should be known as the research. In the both the cases, you are getting the some knowledge. In the one case, when hypothesis is accepted. You confirm that increasing the speed increases the material removal rate. If that is rejected, in that case also you have the new information, new thing, that there is no effect of the speed on the material removal rate, or third maybe there may be the negative effect. When you're going to increase the speed, material removal rate is going to decrease. The two cases may be possible in the case of the rejection. So you can have in the case of the rejection of the hypothesis or acceptance of the hypothesis, you have some information or results, right? So coming back again, so this is a statistical technique for improving product. Already you have some product, or you can use it for the process design and solving process of production problem. Nowadays, competition is so stiff. In terms of manufacturing, if you're going to manufacture one product and going to launch it in the market, you have to think about a lot of the factors. Not about the product functionality. Product functionality is the only one thing. Consumers want the competitiveness, long-lasting durability, price competitive, not too costly. If at the same price they are going to get the same kind of product by different company, they should go for that one. So what we are trying to achieve by optimization, or what kind of problem we are going to solve? Production problem. If you look from the business perspective, and if any tool, anything don't have any business value, there is no need to study or read that one. Only for sake of the knowledge. Knowledge has always the business value, right? Research always has the business value. The big companies are investing a lot of the money in the research and developments. They develop the new tools, new techniques, new drugs, new medicine, new product all the time. And they are the leading company. Their revenue are in the millions of millions. Why? On the basis of the research only. They are doing some innovations and solving the day-to-day problem, right? To solve that problem in a very efficient way. A lot of people are working, solving the problems, but not like the leaders or leading companies. Solving that problem in a very efficient way. Like, if you're going to take the example of the one factor at a time, that requires a lot of experiment to perform. But if you're going to apply the design of experiment concept, it requires very less time to get the same kind of result or information. So your time will be saved. Your resources will be used. That should be less resources you are going to use to get the same information. And their design of experiment is going to help you to have an edge or lead over your competitors. Design of experiment makes controlled change to input variables in order to gain the maximum amount of information on the cause and effect relationship with the minimum sample size. That means, let's try to control change means you are going to decide about the input values of the parameters, input variables. These input values may depend upon the various factors. First of all, let's say if you're going to perform the experiment on some lathe or some CNC or whatever, you should have the knowledge of your machine. If input, let's say for the example, if input factor is the speed, you should know that how many speeds are available there. You should not change or should not choose the speed that is beyond the capability of the machine. So you should know the technical capability, technical feasibility. Okay, only that speed, on that speed you can perform your analysis, sorry, experiment. So that these control change of the input variable decided by the many factors. What feasible there? And we try to find the maximum amount of information. Once you performed the experiment, then during the analysis phase you are going to get the information. Information on what? That is the cause and effect, simple hypothesis testing. If this will done that, then that will happen, like that one. So cause and effect relationship, what kind of cause and effect, right? And minimum sample size means you are not going to perform all the experiment. You are going to choose some experiment out of the all combination of experiment. That is, you are doing some sampling. This is all about the design of experiment, right? We are not going to perform all the experiment, but only few experiment out of the total and get the same or almost same sort of information. When analyzing a process, experiments are often used to evaluate which process input have a significant impact. It may be happen that all the inputs don't have the same impact. Some is impacting the output in the greater terms, more significant there. Some are less significant, right? The contribution of a particular input and a particular output, how much that is going to contribute for a particular output. All input factors may be the different contribution. And what target value you want to achieve? There should be some target value. Target value may be the minimization. One thing is the minimization. Let's say if surface roughness, you take the output. You are talking about the response as the surface roughness. We try to minimize the surface roughness as much as possible. So there our objective may be the minimization. Minimize the surface roughness. And that can be known as the lesser is better. Okay. Sometimes you talk about the material removal rate. As much material you can remove, that will take the less time to finish the product or finish the operation on the workpiece. And in that case, we'll prefer bigger is the better. Much and much material should be removed. MRR should be bigger one. So our objective may be different depending upon the output, response or characteristics or parameter, whatever you want to say. All these should be taken care in the design of experiment, right? All these discussion and how that is going to happen. We'll see with some examples in the coming classes. So we can say the design of experiment is also referred as the designed experiment or experimental design, right? Why? Why should we use the design experiment? What is the motivation behind that one? These reduce time to design or develop the new product and process. You are not going to do all the experiments. You are going to do some experiment out of the total. That reduces the total time to get the information, verify the information, validate the information, establish the relationship between the input and the output. right? And that's why that is going to reduce the time to design or develop a new product or process. If there should be good relationship understood, that is going to improve the performance of the existing process. Same time, improve the reliability and performance of the products. Achieve product and process robustness means a rigid, robust process design will be there based upon the information you have. On the basis of DOE, you can, if the material is the input, what material should be then, which material is giving the better response for a particular parameter, particular strength or whatever that may be, that can be evaluated. If there should be different design alternatives, each different experiment is a different alternative setting, and on which level, which factor, this kind of decision you're going to make to get the better response, optimized response, you can say, whether that is the larger the better or the lesser the better. So that's why we require the design of experiment, right? So before we start, let's have some basic history. We already discussed about the R.F. Fisher, Ronald F. Fisher. And you know that the design of experiment concept came from the agriculture sectors. He has given the contribution to, his contribution is to the factorial design and ANOVA. ANOVA is the analysis of variance. What is the analysis of variance? If you want to establish the relationship between the input and output, and you have to find out that if there should be some significant correlation or not. You are going to find out significance, right? In that case, we are going to perform the ANOVA analysis. We'll take some example in the coming classes, simple examples, how to do the ANOVA, right? So that was the first phase of the design of experiment, 1918 to 1940. Second phase come in the first industrial era, 1951 to late 1970s, when we got the Box and Wilson technique, response surfaces method, and most of that experiments or studies came from the chemical and the process industries. After that, a lot of the emphasis was on the quality management, quality improvement. And here quality management initiatives in many companies, particularly in the Toyota and other Motorola, like that one, given rise to the different tools or techniques used in the DOE. And there we got the Taguchi method, a very robust parameter design and process design. Maybe so some of you are going to use that method for your research purposes, wherever there is some sort of optimization you have to use like that. Okay. So nowadays this is very relevant one to find out or optimize or analyze the cause and effect in any experiment or phenomena. We want to connect a relationship between the input and output variable. We may use the design of experiment, right? If you want the more information about the DOE or history, you can refer to the online material sources. And I have some books on this one. If someone needed, let's say, let me, are you able to see the screen? We have less than 2 minutes, so let me. If someone interested in the Taguchi method, okay, they can follow this. I will send it via Telegram or something. Step by step process for the design experiments. Okay. This is the free resource available online also. So don't worry about the copyright. And you can get a lot of the books also upon this one. Okay. So in the next class, we'll try to have the some examples and try to understand the different terminology used in the design of experiment, like what are the factors, what are the level, what do we measure the response, what are the factorials, and like that one. Okay. Now, if any question you have, you can ask, because we have less than 1 minute time. Anything you want to say, convey, you can convey now. Anyone? Do you have any question? Yeah.